Alright guys, what's going on? It's your boy King Red Diamonds and I'm back for another Nioh 2 video. I'm again continuing on with my weapon guide series, and today we're going to talk about the axe or hammer. For people who do not know, the axe has two variants of its weapon, the axe itself and the hammer. Now, the axe is a bladed weapon, and as you could understand, the hammer is a blunt weapon. Bladed weapons deal extra damage in terms of um, melee. So bladed weapons do more melee damage, and um, blunt weapons do more key damage. So if you are to use an axe, you'll put out more melee damage with the axe, the bladed weapon, and with a hammer, you'll do more key damage. So those are the two variants of the axe weapon that are around. I think there are only two weapons in the game who have those type of variants, and it is the axe and the fists, because the fists also have claws. The fists, they do more um, melee damage, and the claws do more. The fists do more key damage, and the claws do more. The claws do more melee damage because they're bladed weapons. So yeah, axe and fists are the only two weapons I think in the game that have those, extra variants of their weapon type. But before we get into the video, again, I want to give a special shout out to all the people who sub to the channel. Thank you guys so much for the support. For anybody who watches my videos and is not sub to the channel, it's perfectly fine. I appreciate you guys for stopping by, watching my videos. Maybe more content I put out in the future will bring you back to the channel and you become part of the King Red Diamonds gang. So, you know, uh, it's perfectly fine. Watch the videos at your own time. I recommend it to your friends and everything. And make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Leave me feedback. I get back to everybody I possibly can. I always try and respond and interact with the community and stuff. So by all means, leave me comments and everything. Let me know what you want to see. Let me know if you like it, dislike it, whatever. Do what you got to do. But yeah, I'm gonna get into the video now. So um, again, every weapon starts with these four free skills. So I'll go in order of which ones I think you should pick up first, and then we'll move on from there. So we have Heaven and Earth, Mad Spinner, Cloud Crush, and then we have Roar. Now, in terms of all of these skills, first one I think would be very good to have is this one. No, I'm playing. Heaven and Earth. Heaven and Earth because, again, combo finisher. Combo finisher by far. Combo finishers are by far the most common moves to use in the game, in any game, honestly. Every single time anyone plays any game that allows you to use square and triangle to combo, people, their first instinct is to tap square a whole bunch of times and then hit triangle because they expect something to happen. With Heaven and Earth, it will. So you can literally just keep on spamming square and press triangle, and then boom, you'll pull out this move right here, which does a really good amount of damage. It does a really good amount of damage. Again, before I get into the rest of the stuff, the axe is just like the Odachi in terms of how it is used. Both the axe and Odachi are um, they want to be used in heavy armor. They want to be used by characters who have high toughness because they want to tank hits and deal out massive damage. So whenever using these weapons, make sure that you have a good amount of toughness. That way you're not getting one-shotted by enemies, especially if you decide to use these weapons in late game. Um, because again, late game is no joke. You will get killed if you are not, on your P's and Q's. If you're not on your toes, you will get killed. So make sure you're trying to use heavy armor, or at least armor that puts you in a toughness, whenever you use an Odachi or an axe or hammer. But again, back into this. So Heaven and Earth, definitely go with for sure. Very good combo finisher. Looks really cool and does a lot of damage. It can also break the horns on yokai. It can break the guard on humans. It's very useful in all situations. So definitely go with this one first. Next we have Mad Spinner. Now, Mad Spinner is the meme move, in my opinion, what I like to call it, because there are if you've ever played um, if you've ever played co-op in this game and you've played with an axe user, you've more than likely seen this technique used. Like, I don't know how many times I've played with an axe user and they pulled out this technique and just went on a rampage through enemies. Like, literally, because the thing is with this technique, it does as you can see right here, it does maybe like 3 spins. This technique you can do infinitely almost. Like, if you have enough key and you're using your stuff correctly, you can literally just continually spin as much as possible. As much key as you have, you can literally keep on spinning like a top. And it's the funniest thing I've ever seen. Like, I've seen people literally melt bosses by just doing Mad Spinner. It's the funniest move. This is why I call it the meme move. But it's very useful. As funny and as memey as it might be, it's very, very useful. It does a lot of damage. So don't sleep on Mad Spinner. Very good technique. Definitely worth giving a try if you are an axe user. Next, we're definitely going to go with Cloud Crush. Cloud Crush is very good. As you can see, it grabs your enemy if you knock them out of key. If they out of key, you can grab them and toss them. You can use Cloud Crush to throw enemies into other enemies. You can use it to throw people off of cliffs. Like, the move is very good. It's very fun to use. I've actually thrown like a couple people off cliffs with it. It's the funniest thing ever. But Cloud Crush is actually very good. Just make sure they're out of key when you do it. That way you can actually toss them. So I think if you don't, it will just like do a slice and that's it. Honestly, Roar, you only using this really to open up these paths. It's not a bad technique. I'm not gonna say it's bad. I'm not gonna say, oh, don't ever use this technique. I don't use it just because I'm not a fan of techniques that make you charge towards an enemy nonstop. Like for stuff like Devastating Rush or True and Through and stuff like that, those type of charge techniques are pretty good because they don't have like a continued rush. It's just a one time charge up, hit your target, boom, done. I'm not really a fan of it. It's just like random slice on the dual swords. I'm not a fan of random slice at all. Um, or Tiger Sprint. Really, Tiger Sprint is okay. It's an okay technique, but I'm really not a fan of techniques that cause you to have to run towards your enemy, just because I feel like that just leaves you so open. So Roar is not something I would jump at the chance of equipping, but if you think you like it, if you think you can find use out of it, by all means use it. Again, every technique in this game is useful for something. They wouldn't have it in the game if it was useless. um, but it's useful for something. Somebody's going to be able to find use for it. Me personally, I don't, but if you can, by all means do so. But next we're going to move on. Next we have um, Southpaw. Now, I wouldn't say Southpaw is the move I'm looking for, the one I want to go for. More so, I'm trying to work my way up to Tidebreaker, because as you can see, Tidebreaker is very good for breaking key. The reason why is because of that kick in the middle. This kick right here, if you land it, you can break the key on the enemy and then finish off with that downward slice right there. Oh, beautiful. Very, very good technique. It really literally it branches off from high kick, which is the kick I was talking about before. So having Tidebreaker is just like, it's pretty much like God of Wind on the dual swords. There's 3 stages to it. So you have your slice, your kick, and then your downward slice. Very good. Tidebreaker, I would definitely work my way towards as soon as you possibly can. Okay. Next we have if I was to go with what I wanted next, it would be Titanic Strength. Now, Titanic Strength, as you can see, it's a wind up and a downward slice. It does a lot of damage. It does a lot of damage. It can knock back enemies, as you can see. It can break the guard on enemies. It can break the horns on yokai. Um, it just does a very good amount of damage. It's a very good technique. I would definitely go for it. Um, I think there's another move in the L1 or in triangle slot that it conflicts with, but you'll probably go with Titanic Strength anyway. Nothing right now. All right, cool. So yeah, Titanic Strength definitely goes to. I like it. I used it when I use my axe build, which is on my channel. You can go check it out. When I use this build, I definitely use Titanic Strength and Heaven and Earth a lot when I was doing that gameplay, just because these techniques are very, very good. They're very powerful and they're very useful in combat. So Titanic Strength definitely. Next, we're gonna go with Lumber Chop. Lumber Chop is literally the funniest move, other than Mad Spinner. Mad Spinner will probably be my funniest move, but Lumber Chop is right up there. It is literally a baseball swing, as you can see. It's a baseball swing where you're gonna knock somebody's ass out. It's hilarious. I used it whenever I downed a yokai. Like if a yokai was down in a down position, I would charge up a Lumber Chop and swing away, just knock his head loose or something like that. It's the funniest thing ever. Um, it has a long wind up. It, like I said, the axe wants you to be in heavy armor and like high toughness. So like, if you try to pull this move out mid combo, you're gonna get hit. But if if your toughness is high enough, you'll tank through that hit and deliver a ridiculous amount of damage to your enemy. So, Lumber Chop definitely something you can work into your combos. I like it. It's pretty cool. Next, we're going to go to Rampage. Now, Rampage is something that actually is very good as well. Rampage does a lot of damage, especially if you can pull it off when an enemy is out of key, or if you knock them out of key. Rampage definitely is useful in combat. I've used it as well. Definitely comes in the clutch. It doesn't work against yokai, just because yokai can't be grappled outside of using like the little dagger Sohaya Maru. So be careful when using against yokai, but definitely try to work Rampage into your combos if you can. Next, we can just increase the Mad Spinner. Pretty much makes you spin even faster, like this right there. This right here, you'll see this so much. You'll literally, anytime you play with an axe user, you will see them pull out this move and they'll just go crazy with it. It is the funniest move ever. Bear's Bane, I'm not a fan of. It's not really something that does a lot. Like it says it creates shockwave that damages nearby enemies. It's not enough for me to use in combat. But again, like I said, someone could find use for it. So if you like the technique, if you like how it looks, by all means use it. Me personally, in the way that I fight, I don't find much use in it because I try my best not to engage in multiple enemy confrontations. I try to fight only one enemy at once. If I do engage in multiple enemies, I will try my best to separate them and then pick them off one by one. But if you want to use Bear's Bane, by all means do so. Me personally, I don't use it. Next we have Rumbling Earth. Now Rumbling Earth is not bad at all. This is actually very good. In my opinion, it's actually better than Bear's Bane. Rumbling Earth is really good for fighting multiple enemies. If you're fighting more than one enemy and you're surrounded and you pull out a Rumbling Earth, you could pretty much stagger all of them, which allows you to either get out of the way and regroup yourself, or when they're staggered, attack one of them at a time, take them out, and get back to doing what you were doing. Rumbling Earth is, like I said, it's very good against multiple enemies. In terms of one enemy, I'm not sure I would say it's very useful, just because like when you're fighting one enemy, you don't have to worry about like creating a shockwave or anything to damage the area around you. More so, this, like I said, for multiple enemies. So I'll leave this alone for now. But if you like Rumbling Earth, by all means equip it. It's not bad at all. All right, next we're going to move on to not that. We'll move on to, where is it? There it is. Tri-Spark. Now, in order to get Tri-Spark, you got to start with this first. Don't worry about that. Tri-Spark, cool. Now, there are a lot of techniques that deal with the whole triangle command. Tri-Spark is one of them, and it's really good. As you can see, it's fast. Like it might not look fast, but in combat it's pretty fast. Most enemies are pretty much like staggered by this right here. It's three pretty much wild swings, and it can break the horns on yokai. It can break the guard on enemies, on human enemies. It can stagger them. It can destroy their ki, their health. It can do a lot. So That's why I would recommend Tri Spark if you are looking for an extra skill. Again, you have Tri Spark, um, Mad Spinner, Rampage, uh, Lumber Chop. Like all of these are like hold triangle techniques. So they're all very good. You can't go wrong really with any of them. But I'll get into that once I show you my how I set them up and everything. Um, After those, you have this, which is pretty much the same as Roar. I wouldn't use it. If you want to use it, you can. I don't personally, but if you like those charge techniques, by all means, go ahead, go with it. Spinning slide. Spinning slide is for those of the people, like I always say, if they're very good at countering. The only thing with this one is once you counter and do this spin, you have to try to press triangle at the right time to do the technique. And in my opinion, the utility and the amount of damage you get from the technique isn't really worth it. Like I say, if you're good at countering and you like the flashiness of the technique, by all means use it. But me personally, I don't, just because I'm not the best at countering and I don't see the benefit in having it and trying to do all the mechanics of it just to get this right here. I don't see the usefulness of it. But if you like it, again, by all means, equip it. I'm not, just because I don't use it. So next, we're going to go down to these right here, um, which are pretty much status buffs, but also status debuffs. So you got Adamantine, Rage, and Battle Focus. Adamantine basically increases your defense and grants you immunity to staggering in exchange for sacrificing your movement speed. It can only be used when your axe is sheathed. So basically, if you use this, you won't be staggered, but your movement speed will take a hit. This actually is not bad at all. The reason why is because if you can somehow get, like, again, faster movement on Omeo Magic hit, Ninjutsu hit, or faster movement on Emritter Absorption, um, it will pretty much take away the debuff of you losing speed and give you increased defense and immunity to be staggered. So it's not bad at all. This is not a bad technique. Since I don't have either one of those on my, I actually do have that. I could try it out. Yeah, I do have that. I have faster movement, so I can show you the difference basically. But you do sacrifice movement speed, and with the axe, movement speed is very, very necessary, just because again it's a heavy weapon. So a lot of the axe's techniques and a lot of the axe's move sets take up a lot of ki, like a lot of ki. So having um, extra movement speed is very necessary. Rage increases your attack strength, but also increases the amount of ki you use when attacking. So if you have this active and maybe a barrier talisman, that'll take away the key usage, the key usage debuff, and pretty much you'll just have the increased attack, which is very good. So that's not bad at all either. Then we have Battle Focus, which increases the ki used when dodging in exchange for decreasing ki used when attacking. And again, if you have a Barrier Talisman, this also comes in handy as well. So all three of these, you can take advantage of you can take advantage of its status buffs and also get rid of its debuffs just by using certain skills and magic and stuff like that with your build. So in turn, like these are much better than the Odachi in my opinion. The Odachi doesn't really give you much to work on, work off of, but with the axe, it actually does help that you can use certain skills and stuff to help with the debuff it gives you. But since I only have the movement speed one, I'm just gonna use Adamantine for now. And these two you can use; they're very useful if you can find use for them. And then we have this one right here, Earth Carver. It's not really much. It just does that. It sends debris flying at other enemies and stuff. Me personally, I don't find use for it, so I don't use it. So that's why I'm just gonna leave it alone. But that's pretty much all of the techniques from the axe. Like the axe doesn't have many techniques. It's not something like the sword that has like 50 different skills and stuff. The axe is pretty much like our berserker, our brawlers, our tanks, our like the people in the front lines type people, like those types. So Um, those are going to be the ones who will have fun with this. Now I can talk about the mystic arts. Um, we have right here inner light, and then we have intensity. Inner light massively boosts the damage you deal when you're in the yokai realm, which honestly is like I don't I don't really see the usefulness in this. Yeah, you'll be in yokai realm if you fight a yokai. He goes to yokai realm and stuff like that. But like, you're not gonna be in a yokai realm the entire fight. So like, it only massively boosts your damage when inside of the yokai realm. And say like you're in a yokai pool, which is technically considered yokai realm. If you're running barrier, you're purified immediately, so it doesn't really work. So, um, intensity would probably be the one skill I say is better, just because it massively boosts the damage of attacks when you reduce your key to 0 or below. And the reason why I say this is useful, even though it doesn't sound like it's useful, it is because the axe, you're going to use a lot of key when using the axe. So if you hit 0 key and you end up doing a technique while your key is at 0, you'll deal a lot of damage. Now, um, like I said, the axe doesn't come with the best mystic arts, but if I was to choose one, intensity would be the one I go with. So, um, yeah, that's how I would decide between the two. Intensity mainly before this, just because again, like I said, I'm not gonna be in the yokai realm all the time, not the entire fight. So, um, I'll run with intensity, and then we're gonna get our, of course, we're gonna get our passives. Where is it? There it is. Cool. I'm gonna explain this one too in a second. So I have passage, shadow. I don't. There's no armor piercer. I don't think there's an armor piercer. That's relentless. Full Mukata. Okay. Corner. I guess I don't have armor piercing on here. No armor piercing. Yeah. There's no armor piercing on there. Okay, that's cool. But here is Kentaro Kata. This increases the damage you do against yokai, pretty much. And it goes what 2, 1, 1. So that's 3, 4%. So pretty much you just get 4% extra damage when you go up against a yokai. I mean, you can have it, but I don't think it's like that necessary really. And then I'll use relentless just because. Um, but yeah, everything else is pretty much not really useful in terms of the axe and stuff. So you don't have to worry about getting those and everything like that. But yeah. I'll go into showing you guys how I would set up my skills and stuff. You can take a picture. Oh, this right here is an extra skill. It's just the Spirit Storm. It does this. Not really useful in my opinion. I mean, of course, like I said, every skill is useful, but in my opinion, towards my playstyle, I wouldn't use it. It doesn't really do much for me. But if you like it, by all means, you can use it. I forget who you get this from. I really don't remember who you get this from. It's probably Kentaro, but I'm not sure. But yeah, if you want to take a picture of it just to see which ones I use, by all means, do so. And then we're gonna go right into how I set my skills up, a little gameplay. Then we'll get out of here. All right. So over to the axe. Intensity, cool. Grapple, because this is the only one you can get. Sneak attack, the only one you can get. All right, high stance. I'm gonna go with lumber chop. Lumber chop high stance, just because I feel like lumber chop is a super powerful active skill. So I put that in the high stance. That's just how I like it. Heaven and Earth, only skill that can go there. Boom, you gotta keep that. Titanic Strength, only one I can go there. You can use these two. I don't, but Titanic Strength definitely a go-to. I like this technique a lot. Adamantine, we'll keep that there just because I want to use it and show you guys how it works. Here you can go with Southpaw or High Kick. High Kick is what I would go with, just because it comes with that it doesn't show, but if I go back to this, Where is it? There it is. If I go back to this, if you press triangle after high kick, you'll do that downward slice for tiebreaker. It doesn't show up just because high kick is tiebreaker is pretty much a continuation of high kick, so it's only going to show the high kick. But if you press triangle again after doing high kick, you will pull off a tiebreaker. So high kick definitely, and with that, honestly, I would probably put massive slice on just for the extra key damage. Here, Titanic Strength again. With this, probably would go with Spirit Wind, just because it's a lot more forgiving with the counter it has. So Spirit Wind definitely probably will go with that. Roar, I don't really care about. I don't use it, so it's whatever. Adamantine is the only one that goes there right now. I did not change this. I'm changing this to Try Spark, just because Try Spark does a good amount of damage. Plus, like I said, this one is pretty fast, so my mid stance is what I want to have one of my faster techniques in. And then on the last one, I'm going to go with Rampage. Rampage is really good, especially on zero key enemies. As you can see, it does that grapple and that final blow right here. Boom, beautiful, good amount of damage. Cloud Crush, again, very good technique. Yeah, I just would say very good technique. It allows you to grapple your enemy if you like, again, get them at zero key, and again, you can throw them off cliffs, you can throw them into other enemies. Like, it has good utility. This one's the only one that goes there, so that stays, and this one's the only one that goes there, so that stays. But yeah, that's all the techniques right there. Again, the axe doesn't have many techniques. It's not something that's overflowing with just, you know, endless skills and stuff. Like, it's pretty broad of a weapon. Like, it's hit hard, do a lot of damage, caveman style, literally. But yeah, hop right in and show you guys some of the techniques. Boom. But I'm using a hammer instead of an axe, so I'll mainly do more key damage than I will do uh, melee damage. But yeah, let's do it. See how that works? I made sure that I got him out of key before I did that technique. Lumber chop. Look at that. Beautiful. As you can see, like, the axe, you can definitely, you know, get off pretty fast combos with the axe or the hammer. It's just that you have to take heed of your key. Make sure that you're paying attention to your key every time you use a technique, because you will run out of key. It's not like you won't run out of key. Like, you will definitely run out of key. But just make sure that you're, you know, taking heed of it. Showed you those. Now I'm gonna equip Mad Spinner just to show you how that works. I'll put it in this technique right there, and I'll show you how that works. I feel like Mad Spinner actually works better with the axe instead of the hammer. Kind of missed. As you can see, that move doesn't work on Yokai. I can't grapple him. I can only, you know, just get his key down. That's it. He grabbed me. That's another thing with the axe. You could get locked in animations. Like the axe, that's why when you're using an axe, you like to use heavy armor. You can definitely get locked in animations, and they can take a long time to activate, and you can get grappled like such. I missed. Oh well. But yeah, that's how I would use the axe. Like it does a lot of damage. It's very slow but very powerful. If you know how to use it, if you want to use it, you're gonna have a great time with it. Um, Honestly, using the axe when I first tried it out, just because I was trying to go for the trophy, on just the trophy on the game, I actually had a lot more fun with it than I thought. Cause my initial look at it when I first hopped in the game, my initial was like, man, I'm not using no axe. I don't want to be super slow and clunky and not look cool and stuff like that. And when I actually used it, I was like, man, this weapon is actually pretty fun. Like I'm having a pretty fun time using it. So like, if you really want to use the axe or the hammer, by all means do so. Just be careful when using it. Make sure that you at least have a toughness. You don't even have to have a toughness, but a toughness is going to be necessary just because of all the moves that it has. Like as you saw, I I was getting caught in animations. I was getting hit, like just because of how slow the moves are. But again, they're very powerful. So just be careful when using it, and I hope you guys have fun using it. But that's actually going to be the end of the video. Thank you guys again for stopping by. Thank you guys again for the support. I appreciate all of you. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you let me know what you want to see. Let me know any feedback you have. I'm open to all of it. I try to respond to every person as much as I possibly can, or as quickly as I can. So just let me know. But yeah, appreciate you guys. Came Red Diamonds, and I'm out.